Shalom, welcome to Kabbalah Academy. Today's time for another word, a crown jewel analysis on a word explained, namely language. We'll also look at Lashon and Shafar. Language from the English would be an L, a lamet, staff vibration. I have one in my hand, so they also say it's the teacher. It's not contradicting at all. It has the yud on top, right? And it shows a long shape. It's the longest letter, except for the sofit, the final letters, of all the 22. So the yud all the way up, downwards. Okay, so lamet for the L, aleph, air, because language, you can transmit it through the air, right? Nun for the N, a gimel, progress for the G, a vav, bindings for the U, another aleph for the A, another gimel for the next G, and an ayin for the E. And it's best to go to the drawing table and draw it out and go through what I found there. Okay, so language. First of all, to learn Lashon, because Lashon is always used for language, as well as Shafar, Shin Fei Hei. Lashon is tongue, Shin Fei Hei is the end of the mouth, so like the lips. In Likkutei Yirah 9, the Lashon HaKodesh, the holy language, is explained. And it was not available until some years ago. Yirah H'ari struggled to get this out. You can buy a physical copy on bookbaby.com, amazon.com. You see, I use it, put many tabs in it, but might you not be able to afford one, because Yirah didn't struggle for riches. He struggled to get this out to the world, okay? So we have a free PDF for you. This speaks volumes to me already. Someone that offers it freely. Okay, so it's good to support, right? Someone that dedicates his life to this should not be engaged in a 9-to-5. So that being said, I study at the master's feet. He has not time to spend money. He has only time to write, and to share MS, objective truth. And here you find it, all the prerequisites. I cannot emphasize enough how important this sefer is. When I started reading this sefer, I understood that I had to start translating it. I'm translating it into various languages because this needs out. And these also are available as free PDF as well as physical copies in the near future. Okay, so that being said, let us begin and explain the word language. So I'll just take space, lamet, aleph, nun, gimel, vav, aleph, gimel, and ayin. So the L later will make more permutations. So what is important here? What can we see here? Now, language is a structured flow, right? From the concealed intelligence within Bina Gan, so this is what we see here, Gan and Gan, Gimel Nun, are, I don't need to draw it because I can show you here, page 390, I hope you can see it, but here's the album cipher. And then you'll see in the socket of Bina, you see the Gimel and the Nun. Gun, they spell gun, which is garden, okay? So, we have an L here, God, garden. We'll get to directions later. Let's proceed through the word. So, language is a structured flow from the concealed intelligence within Bina, right, through channels, Vav, and the Vav can be various things. It's Zerampin, it's 6, and 6 can hint at the 6 with the center Tiferes, but it can also be Yisod, which is the 6th day. But what is very suitable also is the 6 directions, which again are the 6 Sefirot. So up, down, northeast, southwest, okay? So these are all the directions. That is your space, your, let's say up, down, east, north, south, west, 6 directions, okay? All the dimensions. So language can be uttered. Language can be conceptual, we'll get to that later, but you can also manifest language into all these directions. So that's what I see in the Vav here, okay? So through Gimel, progress into Ayin, which are again these 6, but now the manifestation is included because the 6, Chesed, Gevura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod, they project up on the 7th, and this would be Yetzirah, and this would be Asiya. And Yetzirah is formation, Asiya is action, right? So this is manifestation. This is where we manifest. And that's why Gan is a garden. And garden, you could say that a garden where we plant words, right? That manifest, planted structures, cultivation of whatever you manifest. You can manifest demons, you can manifest angels, okay? Manifestation can also be written. Now, these 6 directions we treated, and we have an Aleph here for air. And air is when you want to utter and speak language, then you will need air for transmission thereof, okay? Without air, it cannot be expressed. Just try to keep in your breath and speak, that doesn't work. So, and this Gimel is then the language that moves and expands, right? Progressing from inner unity toward outward expression. But I don't want to go too deep into the Gimel because we'll get to that later in another permutation of these letters. So, and then what else I wanted to share is that language generates reality. It can build or distort, right? Depending on its alignment. What do you align it with? And so then you have Lashon Hara, Lashon HaTov, Lashon HaKodesh. What do you put in it, right? And the 70 is also, well, again, we'll treat that later. There's a tikkun in here, and there's, of course, in the Torah of Babel, the Tower of Babel, where the languages were confounded. We'll get to that in a little bit. So, a next permutation I would want to write out for you, and that would be then not Lamed Aleph, but Aleph Lamed El, God, and now we'll get to sort of the direction, right? Yeah, we'll do it like this. Nun, Gimel, I'll write it out first and then start, otherwise I get confused. Vav, Aleph, Gimel, and another Ayin. Okay. So, what have I got to say about this? Well, first of all, I want to emphasize that language unfolds through three forces, right? And we see the Gimel already. It's three. Gimel values three. And it's like thought, machshava, inner structure. The will, activation, Ratzon, and breath and speech, ruach ve'adaber, right? Dibur, I should say. So these three factors, right? And then we have also the worlds through which it finds its direction. But first, I want to explain the rest of the content. So again, we have gun here, of course, nun gimel, just flip it around, but the totality here would be 50 for the nun, a 3 for the gimel, a 6 for the vav, a 1 for the aleph, and another 3 for the gimel. 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 6 is 10, plus 3 is 13, plus 50 is 63, and 63 is the value of sag, which again hints at the 63 name and has to do with Bina, Beria. So we have El, we have Bina, Beria, and then we have the 70. So you see here Zerampin plus Malchut included. 6 plus 70. 6 I hate it, the 7 are an abomination. Confounded languages, 70 nations, 70 languages. Okay, so this is the direction. Okay, and then here you could say Atzilut, right? Yetzirah is formation, which are these. This is Yetzirah. Here's formation. Form. This is manifestation, action. Manifest, right? And in Beria Bina is creation. I'll put it here. Create. And Ochma, emanation. Atzilus, emanate. So conceptual, right? Ratzon, action, manifestation. It's all found in this word. Now, what I find important to point out, and I'm doubting whether this should be the right time to show it to you, because it fortifies the fact that in Yetzirah language becomes structured into multiplicity, right? The 70 expressions where unity can either be maintained or fragmented. So, and then in Asiya, language becomes actual spoken or written and manifests directly into reality with all the consequences, you know, of what it is you manifest, of course. So that's why we have to always be careful with language. That's why Judaism teaches about Lashon Hara, even though it's also weaponized by people, some people, but we should be careful of our words, you know. So, and the next thing would be then the next permutation. Let me see where, I will just do it here. And that was found very interesting permutation there. Yes, Lamet, Vav, Nun, Gimel. Lung. So this says lung, okay, lung, because we saw the air, right? And then we have two alephs. So the lung, 2 units of aleph, right lung, left lung, okay? You follow? Progress, 70. So the dual breath, right? I'll call it the dual breath. Language emerges through dual breath, right, left, right, revealing its polarity and capacity for both harmony and imbalance. So now, really I want to open Likkutei at a certain part and start reading from it for you. This would be the right time before we proceed. And that will be found on page 587. Got it here. Okay, I hope this is readable. I'll pull it in some closer. So, Tikkun 12, Sandalphon is Amalek and Babel. So you see Amalek ve Babel, value is 280. Regarding Amalek it is written, indeed he said a hand was lifted towards the throne of Yudhe. Le Yudhe Wavhe will war against Amalek. Okay, Exodus 17:16. Regarding Babel it is written, that is why it's called Babel. For there the Lord Hashem confused Balal, the language Shafah of the world. Right? Genesis 11:9. For Samael, which is alluded to by language Shafah, was spread. See the connection here, right? So spread into the 70, because at Babel the division of language occurred in Yetzirah. This is in Yetzirah, right? The 70 became fragmented. The one divine expression became dispersed into confusion. Okay, so that means also the manifestation thereof in Asiya. Okay. So now the final layer then is found here through the Gimel, right? Language progresses into the 70, expanding across all expressions, either as unified multiplicity or fragmented dispersion. So, two lungs, well, lung, I'll just write it here, lung, right, left lung, okay, quality. Progress into the 70. So now the final conclusion really is language begins, and let me just show it here, begins at God, right? And becomes manifest through Yetzirah into Asiya, right? It forms and it manifests. It forms with air, which is that progress, intermingling with air into Asiya. Now, in the beginning of the video, I already told you that language in Hebrew is Lashon, and we just read in Likkutei Yirah 9 Shafah, and Hebrew is a very skilled language, so this is the tongue, the lips, the end of the mouth. The value thereof is 30, 300, 6, and 50. This is 336, 386. Shefa is 300. Ve is 80, which is mouth, right? Uttered through the mouth. And the He is 5, is 385. This is an inkolel. You could say it's a 1 for the unit of the tongue. This goes into it's the end of the mouth. So, but the tongue a unit, 385. What else is 385? Where do we manifest words, right? So, letters form words, thoughts. We take these thoughts and we choose. We are the choice. We are consciousness. We get voices, and those voices can be serpent, and it can be aligned with the higher. When the voices of the serpent become silenced because of the choices you make. So the language itself, there's nothing wrong with it. 385, and I will reveal to you, is the same value as Asiya. So the 70, 300, 10, and 5 is 385. And Hashem clearly makes us see where we manifest language. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Choose your words wisely. Be spareful on your words. Overthink them not through your forms, right? But through Likkutei, Zohar, Torah, Kabbalah, uniting the oral and the written Torah. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Many blessings until the next video.